right. All right. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to the live stream. Try to adjust this a little bit without messing everything up, messing my mic up. How is everybody doing tonight? I told you guys we would try to be here, do our once a week live stream, and we are here on the day that we chose, which was Saturday. We're actually here. We did things on time for once. So, welcome to the stream, guys. Let me turn this music down just a little bit. It's a little bit loud. Hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and send out some notifications. There we go. All right. Get this pulled up real quick. Okay, there we go. All right, guys, tonight we're going to be talking about anxiety recovery. Eliminating second fear is not eliminating first fear. I feel like this is very, very important. This is a topic that I've tried to drive home pretty heavy here recently, and this is just a different way of putting it. Everybody knows what first and second fear is, but don't worry if you are new here and you don't know what I'm talking about. We're going to go over that before we get into anything. So what is up, Jay? First in chat. What's up, Katie? What's up, crew? How you doing, guys? Welcome to the stream. I hope you're all doing fantastic. We're going to give it just a second, let some people get in here who want to watch us live, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Eliminating second fear is not eliminating first fear. So your objective, really, that's what we're going to be talking about. Your objective tonight. All right. How are you doing today, Jay? What's up, Ian? How are you? I'm pretty good. How are you doing, Ian? Hope you're having a good night. Welcome. All right, beautiful people. Fantastic, man. Hope you're doing good as well. Wonder Bro, appreciate it, Jay. Thank you. I am. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get this music out of here. I'm good, thanks. Yeah, been a pretty good night here in the UK. Awesome, dude. Love to hear it. All right, guys, let's get into this one. So, again, this one is about your objective, really. Your objective with recovery, your objective with the acceptance practice. Now, we're going to start off with talking about what exactly first and second fear are, right? I feel like that's pretty important for this one. So, the title of this stream, guys, eliminating a second fear is not eliminating first fear. So let's get into what first and second fear is before we do anything. First and second fear was a concept by Dr. Claire Weeks, acceptance method pioneer, so to speak. So first fear is going to be those feelings that you feel in your body, those thoughts that you have in your brain, right? The intrusive thoughts that you have or the symptoms that you have physically. That is first fear. And if you make your objective to eliminate that, we're going at it the wrong way. So second fear, what is second fear? Second fear is what you add to those physical symptoms that you feel in your body, to the intrusive thoughts that you have in your head. It is basically your mental commentary that you have to yourself about your first fear physical symptoms and your first fear intrusive thoughts. Right? So second fear is in your control. First fear is out of your control. First fear is those symptoms you feel in the body and those thoughts that you have in your mind. Those will take care of themselves in time as you practice acceptance. Now, here's the problem. Here's where we get into where a lot of people seem to be going wrong, right? A lot of people seem to be going slightly wrong here, and that is they have made their goal to eliminate first fear, right? So they think that their goal is to eliminate the first fear, and what happens is they start to experience first fear, which is those physical symptoms in the body or those intrusive thoughts in their head. And because they think their goal is, okay, if I eliminate second fear, then I can eliminate first fear, they get really worked up and they start to go down the rabbit hole of things like, I must be doing this wrong because I'm still having the physical symptoms or I'm still having the intrusive thoughts. So if you have made your goal, right, and it's okay, own up to it, man, because this is a mistake that I made during my journey many, many times. If you have made your goal to eliminate second fear, okay, so I'm not gonna add negativity to my thoughts and feelings. I'm gonna remind myself to accept it. I'm gonna remind myself that it's allowed to be. I'm gonna live my life just like Wonder Bro says. If you have done that, but then you have turned around and said, well, I'm eliminating second fear, so why am I not eliminating first fear? The physical symptoms and the thoughts, right? It gets really tricky and it gets really slippery because now you're going to feel very, very frustrated. Now you're going to be very upset and you're going to be 10 times more stressed out because your goal is, oh, well, I've eliminated second fear. I've corrected my attitude here, but first fear is not going away. So now you're going to slide pretty far. You're going to slide pretty far because now you're going to get really frustrated. You're going to get really upset and you're going to get really stressed. So if you have made your goal to eliminate first fear, in any way, right? And I understand it's okay to say, hey, one day I'm going to reach recovery. That's fine. I'm not trying to take that away from you. But if during the process you have made your goal in any way, shape, or form to eliminate first fear, even if it's you've told yourself, oh, I'm going to eliminate second fear so that I can eliminate first fear, you're going about it the wrong way. First fear is allowed to be. It's simply allowed to be, right? First fear is allowed to be there. There's nothing you can do about it. We're not trying to change it. We're not trying to manipulate it. We're not trying to have this hidden agenda, right? If you're trying to get rid of or manipulate or change first fear, which again is those physical symptoms in your body or the intrusive thoughts in your head, the way that you feel, then you've got the wrong objective. And you're going to get very upset and you're going to get very frustrated because that's just not how this works, right? Your goal should be to eliminate as much second fear as possible, which is what you tell yourself about those thoughts and feelings, your attitude towards those thoughts and feelings, right? Your goal should be definitely to eliminate as much second fear as possible, but not with the hidden agenda that, okay, I'm going to eliminate second fear, but if this doesn't get rid of my first fear, then I'm going to go right back to trying to do my research and reading all the books and trying to figure out where I'm going wrong and blah, blah, blah. You're going to be stuck in that cycle for a while, right? You're going to go back and forth. Again, that is something I did a lot of during my recovery, especially when I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I would try to eliminate second fear, and then when that wouldn't get rid of first fear right away, I would start to think, well, I'm going wrong somewhere. There's something not right here, and I'd start to get very frustrated, upset, and stressed, and even more anxious, right? So, again, you should never come into acceptance with any sort of a hidden agenda or a goal to eliminate first fear. We should just be solely focused, guys. You should be solely focused on eliminating second fear. Leave first fear alone, which is those feelings that you feel in the body and the thoughts that you have in your head. Does this apply to DPDR as well? Absolutely. Right? So, again, I'm going to put it in an even simpler way to understand. If you are using acceptance with the hidden agenda, okay, I've got these thoughts, I've got these feelings, how do I use this acceptance stuff so I can make these thoughts and feelings go away? You've got the wrong objective. You're going to get really frustrated. You're going to get really stressed, right? We do want you to be responsible for your second fear. Anytime you are trying to figure those thoughts and feelings out, fight with them, argue with them, tell yourself horrible things about them, we do want you to be responsible for that second fear. We want you to try to cut as much of that out as possible, have a better attitude towards your symptoms and thoughts, a more accepting attitude. But when it comes to that first fear, right, those thoughts and feelings, there should be no hidden agenda. You shouldn't be doing anything in an attempt to make those go away. Right? This is all about eliminating second fear. This is not about eliminating first fear. First fear will take care of itself in time, right? In time, as you start to work on and eliminate your second fear. So this stream right here comes back to the whole, we talk about it all the time. People trying to use acceptance like a pill, or people trying to use acceptance like some sort of a technique to make their first fear go away. And you've got the wrong idea. You're missing the bigger picture. Okay, the bigger picture here is first fear is out of your control. If your body decides that it wants to be upset about something and be anxious over something or even panicky about something, that is not your fault. It's not your responsibility, and you should not try really hard to make that go away. If your body and mind decides that they want to be upset about something and get stuck on something and send you thoughts about something or feelings about something, again, not your responsibility. That's to be accepted. We just want to work on eliminating the second fear, and that is the crappy or horrible or negative or fearful attitude or perspective that you have about those first fear thoughts and feelings. So again, we want you to be solely focused on working on your attitude so that you can eliminate as much second fear as possible. We don't want you to even get into discussions about how to eliminate first fear. First fear is something that's just going to happen. It's got to take care of itself. It will take care of itself. You just need to work on your second fear, right? Does everybody in chat see where I'm going with this? Far too many people are still focused on, well, I'm eliminating second fear, but it's not eliminating my first fear. If you do that, you are still sending incorrect messages to the brain. That we want you to get as far away from that as possible, right? Because first fear just has to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. Again, if your body decides it wants to pop off over something, that's out of your control. It just has to happen. It has to go through the motions, right? If your mind decides it wants to send you some thoughts or a thought, and it wants to bug you with that thought, okay, well, it's out of your control. It just has to go through the motions. You just have to have a better attitude about what's going on. That is eliminating second fear, and that should be your only objective. First fear is to be left alone. First fear will take care of itself. First fear, again, is the thoughts and the feelings that pop up, right? You have to form that separation and allow those first fear thoughts and feelings to be there and just have a better attitude about them, right? This is not about eliminating those first fear thoughts and feelings. This is about eliminating that crappy, horrible second fear attitude that you have towards those first fear thoughts and feelings, right? So, we have talked about this in many different ways here on the channel. We sometimes refer to it as don't treat acceptance like a pill, like you're trying to do something to get something to go away. Don't treat acceptance like a technique that you're trying to use in order to manipulate or change your first fear, those thoughts and feelings, right? We've talked about this in many different ways here, and I feel like you can never drive home this message enough. Because a lot of people making that mistake. Well, I'm working on my second fear, but it's not making my first fear go away. And then you start questioning things. Where am I going wrong? And why can't I get it to go away? And now you're adding fuel to the fire, right? So if you're trying to eliminate first fear, you're going wrong. You got to accept those first fear thoughts and feelings and understand that it just has to go through the motions. It just has to go through the process. It's a process that has to happen, right? And if you're making your goal to try to eliminate first fear, again, you're missing the bigger picture. You are missing the bigger picture. So hopefully this stream will serve as somewhat of an eye-opener to some people out there, and people will realize, wait a minute, I'm still resisting that first fear. I'm still trying to look at acceptance as some sort of a technique. I'm still trying to look at acceptance as some sort of a quick fix. I'm still trying to look at acceptance as something along those lines, right? Luis, thank you so much, dude. Thank you, Luis. Give Luis a shout out in the chat, guys. Spam those purple hearts. Thank you for supporting the stream, Luis. I really appreciate it, dude. As Tip Note says, let's heal these nerves, guys and girls. I love it. Thank you so much, Luis, for the $10 tip, man. But yeah, guys, anytime you are in resistance to your thoughts and feelings and you are trying to use acceptance as a technique to get rid of those, you are missing the bigger picture. Acceptance is about becoming as cool with, I'll try to put this in hip terms, acceptance is about trying to become as cool with those thoughts and feelings as possible without having any sort of hidden agenda to try to make them go away. So, for example, thank you guys for the purple hearts, by the way. Purple hearts show love and gratitude to our tippers. Really appreciate you guys supporting the stream. Where was I going with that? So let's say, for example, you're watching this stream right now, you're watching this stream right now, and you have a ton of anxiety in your body, or you have a ton of intrusive thoughts, or maybe just one intrusive thought that's really sticky, right? And you're aware of it. It's okay to be aware. You're aware of your thoughts. You're aware of your feelings. That's okay. We call that first fear. But let's say you're sitting there watching this stream and you're thinking to yourself, okay, how do I use acceptance to get those thoughts and feelings to calm down? You're going about it wrong. If you're thinking to yourself, okay, what do these people know that I don't know that can help me get rid of these thoughts and feelings? You're going about it wrong. If you're sitting there thinking, okay, I really need to use acceptance like this guy is talking about so that I can start to feel better, you're going about it wrong, right? Acceptance is about what kind of attitude shift can I make to be as cool as possible with these thoughts and feelings? Whatever that is you want to tell yourself, right? Maybe you tell yourself, okay, this just has to happen. It's okay to have these feelings there. They will rise, they will fall, they will do their thing, and I'm going to let them do their thing. I'm going to give them space and allow them to do their thing while I focus on taking care of my bills or whatever it is you do, right? It's about making it as unimportant as possible. It's about making it background noise. It's about saying to yourself that you are allowed to feel these things and you're allowed to have that thought, and that thought will lose its power over time, or thoughts, right? There's nothing you need to do about it. So again, acceptance being used as a pill is probably the biggest problem that I see with a lot of people, and you need to understand, to get out of that, you have to remind yourself that this is not about using acceptance like a technique. It's about using acceptance to be able to have a better attitude. It's about having a better attitude while you allow the storm to happen, while you allow the fire to burn, while you allow the anxiety to knock on the door, whatever analogy speaks best to you. This is about an attitude / perspective change. It's not about manipulating anything. It's not about changing anything other than your attitude, right? Which, again, brings us to the topic of trying to use acceptance like a pill, or trying to use acceptance in some manipulative way, right? Rick, thank you so much for the $10 tip, dude. Purple hearts in the chat. Spam that chat with the purple hearts. It only takes a second. It shows our tippers love and gratitude, which they definitely deserve. Thank you so much, Rick, for supporting the stream. Thank you. Let's see some purple hearts, guys, man. I want to see those purple hearts. Let's see. So feel the anxiety regardless of trigger and not give second fear the attention, even if you're getting hit left, right by multiple first fears. Correct, because over time that's how healing continues. Yeah, so let's reword that slightly. So feel the anxiety regardless of the trigger, yes, and don't try to run away from it. Feel the anxiety regardless of the trigger, and do not add, that's a better way to put it, do not add second fear, aka a horrible, crappy, or negative attitude perspective about what's happening with the first fear, which is the thoughts and feelings, right? So it's all about not adding that second fear. But yes, that is how, and like you said, even if you're getting hit left, right, and center, that's okay. You remind yourself that that's a normal part of the process. So if you're sitting there and you're just getting bombarded by first fear, whether it's a situation causing it, a thought causing it, feelings causing it, you're feeling that first fear, right? Your objective is to go on about your day / night as normally as possible while you remind yourself that this is normal. That's basically your objective, to not add second fear. And to not add second fear, you have to remind yourself, hey, nothing I need to do about those thoughts. They'll take care of themselves. It's just I'm in fight or flight right now. Nothing I need to do about those feelings. You're just coming back to, hey, this is normal. This is supposed to feel this way. Yes, it feels very real. Yes, it feels very believable. Yes, it feels like life or death. But you normalize that. Normalizing it is so important, right? When you don't normalize your first fear and you say, oh my God, why is my body reacting this way? Why is my mind stuck on this topic? Why is it giving me these thoughts? When you don't normalize your first fear, thoughts, and feelings, and instead you villainize them and then try to figure them out and try to fight against them, you go into this deep hole that we call second fear, and it doesn't give a chance, it doesn't give a fair chance for your body and mind to work this stuff out on its own. Your body and mind want to work this stuff out. It wants to feel it and heal it and move on. It's just it gets really stuck because you don't give it space, you don't give it time, and you add all of this negative second fear, right? So you're just throwing fuel on the fire. So again, if you're getting hit left, right, and center by a ton of first fear, and it's really through the roof, and you don't normalize that, and you're like, oh no, this is too strong, this is wrong, it's not supposed to feel this way. That is second fear, right? I gotta blow my nose. Jesus, give me a second. Okay, sorry. That is second fear, right? So normalizing it, which is probably what I'm going to do a video on next, but I want to go ahead and bring it up in this stream, is so important, because when I say normalize it, that is basically eliminating second fear. When you normalize it and you tell yourself that it's supposed to feel that intense, it's supposed to feel that real and believable, those thoughts are supposed to cause those feelings, whatever it is you tell yourself, when you normalize it, you are removing so much second fear out of the equation. Because when you don't normalize it and you start getting really worked up, why is it this intense? Am I doing something wrong? What do I do about? When you don't normalize it and you start getting really worked up over what your mind and body are doing, now, like I said, you go into that really deep hole of second fear. And that's where all the fuel to the fire is being added. So really, if the only thing that you take from this stream tonight, guys, is that, hey, whatever your thoughts and feelings are, normalize it. If that's the only thing you take from this stream, great. I'm happy with it. Just normalize my thoughts and feelings. If it feels super intense, tell myself it's supposed to feel that intense during the process. That's okay. If I'm having a thought that's stuck and it's making me feel like it's the end of the world, okay, that's supposed to feel like that. And it's not fun necessarily, right? But to normalize it takes away a lot of the second fear. Does everybody in chat see where I'm going with this? Give me a show of hands if you get what I'm saying here. Normalizing it takes away a ton of the second fear, because when you normalize it, you are not getting into discussions with yourself about, oh, I'm missing something. Oh, this is wrong. Oh, I'm going wrong somewhere. I'm doing something wrong. Oh, it's not supposed to feel this way. When you don't normalize it, you are adding so much second fear that it is ridiculous, right? And people are not normalizing it. They're not telling themselves, hey, it's okay if it feels this way. It's supposed to feel this way. Let it take care of itself. People are not normalizing it, and what happens is they find out about acceptance, and they're trying to use it like a pill, but because they're not normalizing the process, now they're trying to use it like a pill, and they're thinking, oh, I'm doing something wrong. So people find acceptance, and then they add second fear to acceptance. Second fear in the form of, oh, I can't be doing this right because this feels too intense. Now you're adding second fear to acceptance, just like you're adding second fear to your thoughts and feelings, right? And that's not what we're going for at all. So if you don't normalize how intense the process can be as you're sitting there with your first fear, thoughts, and feelings, if you don't normalize it, you run a big risk of going down these negative second fear rabbit holes with things like, I'm doing it wrong, acceptance doesn't work, and blah blah blah. And now it's no wonder you're not seeing the progress that you want to see, right? You can add second fear to pretty much anything. And a lot of people add second fear to acceptance by saying things like, oh, it's too intense and blah blah blah. Adding second fear to pretty much anything. You can add second fear to pretty much anything, and people do. So in other words, leave it alone. Yes, stop the constant research. Stop the trying to figure out what acceptance means. Acceptance is not something you figure out. It is an attitude that you practice, right? If you're trying to figure out acceptance, that means you're still looking at it like a technique, when really it just means live your life and remind yourself that it's okay to feel the way you feel, and it's a normal part of the process. And even when it gets really intense, you're reminding yourself that this is just okay. It's a part of the process. It's supposed to feel that intense, right? It's just normalizing it. Acceptance is just normalizing your thoughts and feelings as you go through the recovery process. That's all acceptance is. If you're trying to figure it out like it's some sort of technique, you're really far off. You're still missing the mark by a mile, right? So if I had to sum acceptance up, I guess you could say, with one word, if I could only use one word to try to explain to somebody what acceptance meant, that one word would be normalize. Normalize, right? Normalize it, okay? The way I feel, it's supposed to feel this way. The thoughts I'm having, they're supposed to cause the reaction. It's supposed to be this intense. Because when you don't normalize it, Now you're getting worked up and you're trying to figure out what acceptance means. You're trying to get rid of first fear, blah, blah, blah. If you don't normalize this stuff, especially in the heat of the moment when you're going through it, if you don't remind yourself, hey, this is supposed to feel this way, it's supposed to happen like this, I'm supposed to get all these thoughts rushing, and they're supposed to feel like the end of the world. And if you don't normalize it, you're in trouble, right? And by in trouble, I mean you're probably going to start adding a ton of second fear at some point, right? And that's not the end of the world. Nobody is perfect. So what if you add some second fear? But we need to try to get you away from that, right? If we want to make as much progress as possible, we need to try to get you away from that, right? So I've been getting hit by first fear all day. It's been a while since I've been hit this hard, but I think I've done a good job of not getting tangled up with second fear. I've just been letting it burn. Yes, normalizing it, right? Again, it comes back to that one word. If somebody forced me to give just one word to sum up acceptance, I would write a book entitled Acceptance, and there would be one page in it, and on that one page, there would be the word normalize. That's what it's about. It's about just saying, okay, nothing I can do about it. Okay, yeah, I'm getting all these thoughts or thought, and it's causing a bunch of feelings, and I feel like it's the end of the world, and I feel like something bad's going to happen. It's all normal. It's a normal part of the recovery process. It's a normal part of a tired nervous system. It's a normal part of the brain being in the fight or flight state. Normalize is such an important word when it comes to recovery, because like the title of this stream says, if you don't normalize it, you're going to try to eliminate those first fear thoughts and feelings, and you're going to try to use acceptance like some sort of a pill or a technique, and you're missing the bigger picture here, right? So normalizing it is so crucial to the journey. That way you keep your hands out of the pot. Keep your dirty, filthy hands out of the pot, and allow the body and mind to be a body and mind that's going through the recovery process. Right, you guys? Keep those dirty hands out of the pot. Acceptance is not a technique. It's not something you figure out. It is the word normalizing, right, what you're experiencing, and truly not getting involved, leaving it alone, letting it do what it wants to do, right? So if you're still trying to use it in some way to get comfort from first fear thoughts and feelings, you're missing the bigger picture. If you're still trying to use it in some way to get away from your first fear thoughts and feelings, you're missing the bigger picture. If you're using it in some way to manipulate your first fear thoughts and feelings, you're missing the bigger picture, right? A lot of people are missing the bigger picture. And how do we get you to see the bigger picture? We get you to see the bigger picture by telling you that one word: normalize it. It's supposed to feel that crappy. It's supposed to feel that life or death. Those thoughts are supposed to cause that reaction. The body is supposed to react like that. Normalize it and live your life. Normalize it and live your life. If you get a thought that says, oh, you might have a heart attack, and then that causes you to get a bunch of feelings in your body, you've got health anxiety, normalize it. Tell yourself, wait a minute, my mind is supposed to produce thoughts like that and make me question things. It's trying to make me question things, and it makes me feel like I'm on edge, and it's the end of the world if I don't solve it. That's supposed to happen during recovery. Normalize it, right? So understand that if you don't start normalizing how anxiety reacts in your body and mind, you're going to continue to try to find this way out by using acceptance like a technique, which is very far off from true acceptance, right? So really it is, and I'm going to say the word simple. I didn't say easy, but it's as simple as my two keys: continuing to live your life as normal, and while those thoughts and feelings are there, no longer fighting with them by reminding yourself it's supposed to feel that way, and that's okay if it does. Normalize it as a part of the recovery process. Normalizing is such a good term to use here. All right, you guys. So I think that's all I have to say about the topic of this one. Thank you so much for watching tonight's video, tonight's stream. I really, really appreciate it. Again, huge shout out to Rick and Luis for supporting tonight's stream. Thank you guys for the tips. Really appreciate it, man. We're going to hang out with chat for a bit. What is up, Coco? Welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing fantastic. When you're recovered, will anxiety try and pull you back in because I'm getting physical symptoms like shortness of breath and fatigue, even though I can do whatever I want, no anxiety at all? I mean, you can have stress-related symptoms, right, and still feel pretty good. You can have stress-related symptoms. As a human being, you'll probably always have some sort of stress-related symptom. You can definitely take your tired nerves and heal them and get back to normal. But if you are just now coming out of like a severe state, you can definitely have more stress-related symptoms than your average person, sure, right? Give yourself time, give your body time, and give your mind time. You will get back to quote-unquote normal, right? You'll get out of the second fear, and the nerves will start to heal. But yeah, you can come fresh out of a severe state and still have like leftover thoughts or feelings or symptoms. The process doesn't change, though. The practice doesn't change, right? You'll be doing the same thing still. You'll be doing the same thing still, so... Does DPDR go away in the existential issues as well? It does. I mean, all the symptoms start to fade as your nerves start to heal, right? All the symptoms start to fade as your nerves start to heal and as you start to retrain your brain. But not if you sit around and resist them in such a way that you're looking for them to fade. It's okay to be happy about your progress that you make, and that's fine. But don't use acceptance like a pill, right? You're going to be okay. You are going to be fine. But don't sit around and use acceptance like a pill. Don't sit around and try to get rid of those. You normalize them. Just normalize them and treat them as irrelevant as possible, right? Treat them as irrelevant as possible. What's up, Luis? I am fully recovered, and yes, you will have some anxiety here and there, but like Wonderbro says, we know way too much to spiral again. Exactly. Luis is one of my young grasshoppers that I've done weekly coaching with for a while, and he's absolutely just done amazing. And it's because he wasn't trying to use acceptance like a pill. You know, through our talks, he really started to grasp the idea that, wait a minute, this isn't like a pill. When these thoughts and feelings come that bother me, I just sit back, give it time, and normalize it. Right? Just normalize it. Have a more relaxed attitude about it, even though your body and mind are not relaxed at all. Right? That's okay. Just normalize it. So big shout out to Luis for being such a great person here on the channel, always supporting the streams and always spreading positivity. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's gradual, Katie. It's gradual. Your mind takes time to catch up to this this healing. Your body takes time to catch up to this healing. It's a gradual process, and that's okay. It's allowed to be a gradual process, right? There's the kicker. It's allowed to be a gradual process. Normalize it, right? I'm going to say that word so much tonight. You guys are going to get sick of hearing it. But if you don't normalize your thoughts and feelings by reminding yourself that it's supposed to feel that way, right, you're going to start getting really concerned. And so what we're trying to get away from is people feeling really concerned over what their body and mind are doing, right? So trying to get away from that. That is eliminating second fear, right? Trying to get away from the over concern about what your body and mind are doing. That is what it is. Separation, normalizing it, saying, hey, it's okay that this is happening. It's supposed to happen. Instead of, oh no, why is this happening? Use acceptance to make it go away, right? That's not acceptance at all. It's not acceptance at all. Imagine the weight that would be lifted off your shoulders if you just continue to remind yourself that this is supposed to happen. You're supposed to feel that way. You're supposed to have those thoughts and feelings. It's a normal, right? Normal part of the recovery process. So normalizing it is probably as close to acceptance as you could possibly be, right? And that's what you guys have to start practicing. That's what you guys have to start practicing. Been doing really well, just waiting for my personality to fully return and interests. My advice would be, and you probably already have done this, considering how well you said you've been doing, my advice would be to continue on with your interest regardless, right? Even if your body and mind have not fully caught up yet, continue on with your interests regardless, right? While you continue to accept those first fear thoughts and feelings. Be the coach, man. Be your own coach. Be your own leader. Show your body and mind the truth. Live your life as normally as possible while you normalize and accept those thoughts and feelings. No matter how intense they might get at times, you never want to go down the rabbit hole of, oh man, I need to do something about this. No, we're trying to stay as far away from that as possible. Right? As far away from that as possible. All right. Check out how badass this lighter is, you guys. You ever seen a plasma lighter? If you haven't, you have now. If you haven't, you have now. One of one, thank you so much for the $5 Cash App, dude. I have my phone turned upside down, so I'm glad you said something. Thank you so much for the $5 Cash App, man. I really appreciate you. We're on an 11-day streak, you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the stream, everybody. Thank you. Show some love in the chat, man. Get those purple hearts going. I know this is a little bit of a late one. We probably should have did this stream earlier in the day, but here we are. Watching the D-backs game. We'll watch later. I guess enjoying sports again is a good sign. It's a great sign. I'm healing thanks to you, man. Hey, thank you for supporting the stream, dude. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. You a real one. Let's get some music going. Let's get some music going. Shall we? There we go. There we go. That's better. Thank you again, guys, for the support, man. Rick, 101, Luis, thank you, guys. Hey, man, I understand what it feels like to be in that place of, oh, God, use acceptance like a coping strategy or a technique. Acceptance is a change of attitude. It's not a technique or a coping strategy that manipulates or gets rid of anything, right? When I say manipulate, I mean change something in the moment. No, acceptance is all about how you view what's happening in the moment, and you view it in a much better way, which, again, comes down to the word normalizing it. You're normalizing it. The one-on-one coaching is where I made my progress. Invest in your mental health. It's worth it. Hey, I appreciate that, Luis. Thank you for that. You got to be willing, though, right? You got to be willing. If you're going to do the coaching with me, it's a no BS situation. You got to be willing to put in the work. You got to be willing to do what needs to be done. So, and you were clearly you were willing. Now you're recovered, so pat yourself on the back, dude, because my coaching is only as good as the person's willingness to do what I recommend, right? So pat yourself on the back for that. You deserve props too, man. You deserve props too for doing your part. Doing your part. What's up, Lick? It's been a minute, dude. How have you been? Welcome. Hope you're doing well. How have you been? How have you been? Shortness of breath has to be at least top 5. At least top 5, I'd say, as far as common anxiety symptoms go. Of course, you know, there's not much we can do about that first fear. It's about getting away from trying to do anything about that first fear. I'm fine, thanks. Just watched some funny video of 2 people wearing steel armor and fighting each other with an axe. It reminds me of my first thought is that old Jackass skit back on MTV where they used to do that. Bring back, man, bring back the original MTV. We miss it, we miss it. Well, chest tightness and soreness and pain can come with the shortness of breath. I don't know if it's directly caused by the shortness of breath. Do exactly Wonder Bro says he's your eyes when you can't see clear. I like that. It works. Just do the work. It's going to be uncomfortable and terrifying at times, but it works. If it burns, that's a good sign you're on the right path. I love it. See, that's normalizing it, like we talked about in this stream. It's so important to get away from that second fear. I end up overthinking things and getting my anxiety up so bad. Yeah, because your mind brings you certain thoughts from a fight or flight state, and then you overthink those thoughts. Right? You overthink it instead of normalizing it and not getting involved with it. Same for like the doom feeling, Josh, that you just mentioned. Muscle tension, yeah, could be. Yeah, so you really just have to normalize all of those thoughts and feelings as a part of the process, you know, instead of trying to get involved with them so heavily. Shortness of breath sometimes feels subtle. I can't tell if it's mental or other times it's a bit stronger. Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit stronger. Sometimes it's a little bit weaker. Don't try to figure out anything, right? Do we know why anxiety disorder starts? Claire Weeks said it was due to dealing with too much stress for too long. What started off for you? Started off for me was, well, it was stress symptoms coming from something, right? It doesn't really matter, but stress symptoms starting to appear and then overthinking those thoughts and feelings, those stress symptoms. Like Dr. Claire Weeks says, it's when a person becomes afraid of the state that they're in that it becomes a real problem. Can OCD and anxiety work hand in hand? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they go hand in hand. It's the same practice for both. It's the same practice for both. It's not adding to anything. It's normalizing what is there. Normalizing what is there and allowing what is there to be there. Keep it simple. Keep it simple is it's a great piece of advice. Making things complicated makes anxiety worse because it's once again overthinking. Absolutely. Always just come back to a simple understanding. Always just come back to reminding yourself that it's normal to feel the things that you feel and to have the thoughts and feelings that you have during the recovery process instead of trying to do anything about them. It's always coming back to normalizing them. All right, guys, we're going to end this one a little early tonight. We're about 44 minutes in, so we're going to end this one just a bit early. But thank you guys, man. Thank you guys for coming out. I started this one a little late. It's past my bedtime, but I still enjoyed it. I wanted to come on here and do this topic because I still feel like there's a lot of people who are trying to get rid of that first fear, and really it's just about shifting that second fear. So thank you guys for coming out tonight, man. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I love you guys so much, man. Thank you for all the support. And I believe that's everything. I will see you guys again in our next stream. And until then, as always, stay awesome.